Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. All right. I hope I'm audible. Yes? Good evening, everyone. नहीं ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. Audible, right? ठीक है. So we already had a few classes of decision making. Since we are doing this for you free classes till ZAT, we have another session of decision making planned. Now, if you remember, decision making is based basically on ethics. This is ZAT specific. Now ZAT, so every college has its own values. ZAT definitely has a lot of values based on ethics. So whenever in a dilemma, go for what you think is ethically right. Now you may think in your real life scenario, you may not be able to do something like that. But as far as decision making is concerned, and as far as that is concerned, you have to do what is ethically right. Okay? Having said that, let's get on with the first decision making set. Good evening, Ji. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Okay, let's read this first set. Read the set, please. Some of you might say you've already done this, but guys, please understand, we have picked up questions, important questions from previous year's GAT papers. So there is not a high probability, but there is a probability that you might encounter a set which you've already done. So keep it to yourself. Everybody has not done this. If you've done this, for sure you'll get the right answer. Let's revise it. क्वेश्चन से पहले लेट्स एनालाइज द सेट. The set says Bharat Business School, a premier business school, was renowned for the quality education it provided. Its faculty, known for their domain area expertise and excellence in teaching, competed with each other for a better student feedback. Of late, the institute was finding it difficult to upgrade its course content with rapidly changing global business scenario. The difficulties multiplied when the school realized that some of senior faculty would retire on a regular basis starting in the near future. To overcome these difficulties, BBS decided to recruit young faculty in all departments. When the Dean Academic scanned the application, she found three distinct types of aspirants. A type candidates who were very good teachers, competent in teaching the courses taught by existing faculty members. B-type candidates who were average teachers, competent at creating and teaching new courses that would complement existing courses taught by current faculty. So A is talking about carrying on the same work. B is talking about competent at creating and new courses that would complement existing courses. C-type candidates were not so good teachers, willing to teach any course BBS required. So A will continue the good work, B will bring up something new as well, but they were not as good teachers as A, and C were not very good teachers, but they were willing to teach any course. Note 1. A course is termed complementary when it covers latest content and complements existing courses offered by a department. Note 2. Each department decides the suite of courses to be offered. The first question reads, which of the following options will be the best recruitment decisions for BBS? What do you think, guys? Easy question. Hire B-type candidates so that all type of courses can be offered to students. Okay, but we have to understand that they're not very good teachers. Don't recruit and request the existing faculty to develop complementary courses. Existing faculty is not our concern. Hire C-type candidates as they can teach any course, but we have to develop the course first. Hire A-type candidates unconditionally and allow them to teach courses taught by the existing faculty. This would be a problem, because we need to cover latest content and complement existing this. So we can't go on teaching the same idea. Hire A-type candidates and let the new as well as existing faculty offer same courses. And then we have hire B-type candidates and allow them to teach all kinds of courses. The best answer is, in this case, would be C. Hire A-type candidates, they are good teachers and they will take care of existing courses. Ask existing faculty to teach new courses. So we've taken care of complementing the courses as well, right? C is the best answer. A lot of you are answering E. I don't understand why. Oh, sorry. Wrong question. Yes, hire A-type candidates on condition that they will have to develop complementary courses. Yes, because A-type candidates are the best candidates. They teach well, they can continue with existing courses. As far as developing new courses is concerned, they will take care of it as well. They have to develop complementary courses. We can't do this unconditionally because we need new courses. E is the best answer. All of you, I think, have got this correct. Next, suppose the Dean Academics wanted to reduce future conflicts and political maneuvering to ensure harmony among faculty. Which one of the following option will best reduce conflicts and politics again amongst the faculty? So we have to reduce future conflicts and political maneuvering to ensure harmony among faculty. Which option will be the best option is the question. Best answer here. So we have to avoid conflict, mind you. Hire B-type candidates to teach complementary courses, which is good because there will be no conflict. The conflict probably would be between the existing teachers and the newly hired A-type teachers, because they are also very good teachers and they would be teaching the same courses. But if we hire B-type candidates to teach only complementary courses, the specialized faculty which are already present will continue teaching their courses, which will reduce conflict. So A is a good answer. B says hire C-type candidates and allow them to teach all types of courses. If they are teaching all types of courses, again there will be a conflict between the existing teachers and the newly hired teachers. Hire A-type candidates to teach existing courses. If they teach existing courses, again there will be a conflict. And you can't ask existing faculty to teach new courses. This is again a point of conflict. D says hire A-type candidates and let the new as well as existing faculty offer same courses. Again, if we are offering the same courses, there will be a point of conflict. E, hire B-type candidates and allow them to teach all kinds of courses. Well, we hire B-type and allow them to teach all kinds of courses. Again, all kinds of courses, guys, this will be a point of conflict, right? So the best answer here is A. Could you follow this? I think you have questions here. Please feel free to ask me. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट तो तभी होगा ना जब आप दो लोग एक ही चीज पढ़ा रहे हैं और आप एक स्पेशलिस्ट को बोलेंगे कि नहीं आप स्पेशलिस्ट हैं, आप ये मत पढ़ाइए, या आपके साथ कोई और भी पढ़ा रहा है, दैट विल बी अ पॉइंट ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. So the best idea would be to hire the best teachers, but make sure they are teaching the new courses. I hope this is clear. Any questions regarding this question, this particular question? In one decision making set, there are approximately 3 questions, generally 3 questions. Look at 29th. Suppose the Dean Academics wanted to ensure the most efficient utilization of faculty resources. Which of the following hiring decisions will ensure the most efficient utilization of faculty resources? Hire A-type candidates and let them new as well as existing faculty teach same courses. If they are teaching the same courses, how is it efficient? It's not efficient. Hire B-type candidates to teach complementary courses. But you have to understand, B-type candidates are not the best teachers. C says ask existing faculty to develop complementary courses. You can't ask existing faculty to develop complementary courses. You are hiring new people anyway, right? D says hire C-type candidates and assign them teaching assistant responsibilities. This is far-fetched. Hire A-type candidates of developing complementary courses. This is the efficient utilization. Why? Because A-type candidates are really good teachers, plus they are developing new courses as well. So the current faculty can continue teaching what they're teaching right away before they retire. E is the right answer. आगे चलें. चलिए, let's move on then. Next set. Please read this. Shall we? पढ़ लिया है सबने? Okay. Let's go over this one more time. During the floods of 2018-19, a group of philanthropists led by Niyabuddin wished to open free food center for the needy. Their motto was that no human should be hungry. Nothing gives more satisfaction to the philanthropist than to see the hungry eat to the fullest. Post COVID-19, the group started a food center by the name Win-Born Life Care Food in a small town called Palakkad. The center started gaining popularity as the number of people enjoying free meals increased over time. Initially, WBLCF offered a standardized menu consisting of idli, upma, puttu for breakfast, curd rice for lunch, and idli or upma for supper. 6 women were employed by WBLCF to prepare all the meals. As the number of diners increased, they started expecting a variety in the menu. At WBLCF, not all diners ate free. While 2/3 of diners get free food, 1/3 would donate some amount to a transparent charity box kept at the entrance. For example, a man donated rupees 500 after consuming 2 idlis, and a woman approached Niyamuddin and inquired about donating 10 kilograms of rice. Those who could not afford to donate were often seen prostrating worshipfully in front of the charity box. Some caring individuals made monetary donation while others donated rice, fruits and vegetables to WBLCF. Further, the centre received inquiries from many locals on how they could contribute to the cause. As the centre was lauded for its philanthropic work by people of the town, Niyamuddin intended to replicate the initiative in the nearby districts. However, he is concerned about the cost that goes into running the centre. Almost 75% of the donated amount goes into buying the cooking ingredients, while the rest goes into paying salaries, operations and maintenance costs. So, floods were there were floods and there were a lot of people going hungry. Some philanthropists led by Niyamuddin thought that we should offer free food, and that's what they did. They were offering a particular menu, but then as the number of people started growing, people started expecting more. There were some people who ate for free, and there were some people who were donating for the cause as well. Niyamuddin wants to open something like this in neighboring cities as well, but he's worried about the cost. Okay, this is the set. The first question says, from the following, choose the most important challenge that Niyamuddin has to overcome to sustain WBLCF. Getting enough finances and donations, guys. I think this is the answer we've discussed from the argument itself. Paying salaries to employees. See, he's already paying salaries to employees. If he has to overcome to sustain WBLCF, he needs more funding, right? Because that's the idea. Attracting enough diners? No, he's already attracting enough diners. See, free food will obviously attract people. Then having enough cooks and employees, that's not a concern either. Preparing only local dishes for diners. See, please understand, there is an increasing demand for other kinds of menu as well. But local still works, right? Because people who do not have food will go for whatever they're getting. Yes, you guys are right. A is the best answer. Perfect. Niyamuddin realized that on some days the food was wasted, while on other days diners went back hungry. So probably demand supply. Sometimes he was preparing more food, sometimes less diners were turning in. He sought advice from a consultant friend on how to reduce wastage. The consultant suggested the following. Launch a mobile app so that diners can pre-inform their arrival to WBLCF. Ask diners to enjoy free meal to distribute excess food to hungry on streets. Yes. Ask diners to eat less as it is good for health. Not really. Preach people to eat less. Ration amount of food to be served for the dinners. Which of the above ideas will not be consistent with the core ethos of WBLCF? So, which is the first thing which will not be consistent? I think the first thing will be asking diners to eat less. We're offering free food so that nobody goes hungry. So clearly, I think the first option has to be this. What next? Again, it's similar to this. Preach people to eat less. Not a very good idea. Ration amount of food to be served to the diners. See, if you ration amount of food to be served for diners, probably they may not have enough food if more diners turn up. So, clearly 3, 4 and 5. The question is, will not be consistent. Okay. Option A says launch a mobile app so that diners can pre-inform their arrival, which is actually a good idea. That will not be, then the food will not be wasted. Second says ask diners who enjoy a free meal to distribute excess food to hungry on streets. That will also be in line with the core ethos of WBLCF. The core ethos is nobody goes hungry. This is also public service. So clearly B. Clear है ये? Harsh, this is a very vague question. You have to be specific with what you are not able to understand so that I can address your question. कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, उसका तो जवाब मैं बोल सकता हूँ, हाँ भाई दुनिया ऐसी ही है, किसी को कुछ समझ नहीं आता. One is consistent with the core ethos of WBLCF. The question is which will not be consistent. Next, Niamdin wanted to conserve local recipes that can be used to prepare mouth-smacking dishes for the diners. Which of the following could be the best way to conserve local recipes? Options are: hold a weekly competition for the best local dish and get it judged and documented by local volunteers. Okay. Request a lady once a week in Palakkad to cook food at WBLCF on voluntary basis and document the recipes. Alright. She says tie up with one of food delivery partners to help them document the recipes. See, the question is, he wants to conserve local recipes that can be used to prepare mouth-smacking dish for their diners. Food delivery partners would not be doing that. Tie up with the chef of the best restaurant in Palakkad to document recipes. Again, this would not be for diners, this would be for other people. E says, ask free diners to contribute towards one recipe for a dish and give them the responsibility to document. See, he wants to conserve local recipe. So B and A look good. But we are requesting a lady once a week in Palakkad to cook food. We don't know what kind of food does she cook. Is she cooking really good food or not? But we hold a weekly competition for the best local dish. Right? So, mouth smacking dish. The competition will bring out what was good and get it judged and documented by local volunteers, thereby conserving the local recipes. So, best answer is A. Clear है ये? Right, moving on to the next question. Swati, the idea is not to increase finances. The question says conserve local recipes which are good, which people like. Finance is not the criteria here. हर्ष कोई बात नहीं, देखो अभी आपके पास जितना टाइम है उतना ही टाइम है आपके पास, ठीक है. यूपी बोर्ड से है, कोई बात नहीं. आप रीडिंग पे फोकस कीजिए प्लीज़, इंग्लिश पे ध्यान दीजिए थोड़ा सा. बाकी iQUANTA है आपके साथ, जो क्लासेस हो रही हैं ये तो फ्री है, ये आप अटेंड करते रहिए. कोई डाउट होता है तो पूछिए, आई विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू रिजॉल्व इट. बट आप डाउट तो स्पेसिफिक पूछो ना. अगर आप बोलोगे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा तो मैं कितना समझाऊंगा. जैसे आप यहाँ पे देख रहे होगे बाकी लोग क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं सर व्हाई नॉट वन, लाइक स्वाति आस्क्ड होल्डिंग कंपटीशन वोंट इंक्रीज फाइनेंसेस, तो मैं क्लैरिफाई कर सकता हूँ. Be specific with your doubts. Be specific with your doubts. I'll be more than happy to help. All right. Let's read the scenario. Aarti, CEO of an FMCG company, was under pressure from the board of governors to increase diversity in the workplace. The board wanted the company to hire candidates with vision impairment, as it believed that they contributed to organizations in many unique ways. The CEO was apprehensive of hiring visually impaired candidates. She was not sure about the feasibility of accommodating them in the current setting. Moreover, Aarti was unsure as to how the visually impaired could contribute meaningfully to the organization. A person with a vision impairment of range 60 to 100% is referred to as visually impaired person. A person with 100% vision impairment cannot see at all. The following arguments were presented to Aarti about the candidates with vision impairment. Visually impaired can do some activities better than the normal people and hence complement other employees. Okay? Yes? Some activities better than the normal people and complement other employees. Yeah, so this is a good enough argument presented to Aarti. They have heightened senses otherwise, so maybe they're good at other jobs. Visually impaired can motivate other employees to work harder. Yes, that is also true. If you see a visually impaired person doing what you're supposed to do, you would be motivated. You'll be like, if he or she can do it, why not I? Visually impaired can act as a role model for other disadvantaged people in the society. Absolutely correct. Visually impaired can work harder to prove themselves. Well, if this is true, this also supports the fact that visually impaired people should be hired. Hiring visually impaired people may enhance organizational reputation, which may consequently lead to better sales. Yes, that is also true. Sixth says visually impaired have to be paid 20% extra salary. From the above arguments, which of the following options indicate CEO's apprehension are misplaced? Guys, if visually impaired have to be paid 20% extra salary and they're not producing the desired result, they're not even doing that much work, then it's not a good idea to hire the visually impaired people. On the other hand, all these are valid arguments presented to Aarti about the candidate with vision impairment. So, A. Medha, if in 1 week there's not much that you can do, but just focus on what is being taught in classes. Don't miss out on any practice questions. Don't miss out on any practice exercises. So you don't have much time, Medha. You don't have much time to even think. Give it your best. You have not even a week. You have 4 days to prepare for your exam. Alright, next. Aarti wanted to follow the suggestion given by the Board of Governors. However, she was not sure if the company was ready to accommodate candidates with 100% visual impairment. Also, the concern of involving such employees in meaningful activities was constantly bothering her. Hence, she constituted a committee to come up with recommendations that would help the company in hiring 100% visually impaired employees. Okay. After 2 months of deliberation, the committee came up with the following recommendations. Hire visually impaired employees unconditionally, as it is in company's social responsibilities. Guys, she put together a community. Unconditionally does not make sense. Hire visually impaired employees in the activities they can contribute. Of course, makes sense. Yes. Ensure visually impaired friendly office space, food courts, restrooms, parking, etc. Yes, that would have to be do. This is the recommendations of the committee. So yes, they give them this kind of work, ensure they have friendly office space, yes. Allow guide dogs to assist employees with 100% vision impairment in the office, yes, also this is also true. So 2, 3 and 4 makes sense, hence option B. Harsh, college topper, please relax. Catman is only trying to motivate you. रिमझिम विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड लोग होते हैं जिनको क्लियरली नहीं दिखता. लाइक हमारा 100% विजन है, किसी का 40 to 60 70% विजन इम्पेयर्ड होता है. उनको मतलब अगर हमको 100% दिख रहा है, उनको 30% ही दिख रहा है, 40% ही दिख रहा है, उनको बोलते हैं विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड. नॉट कंप्लीटली ब्लाइंड बट कांट सी प्रॉपरली आइदर. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Charchika, workplace में dogs would not be a topic of conflict. You need to understand what she's done is she constituted a committee to come up with recommendations, and these are not regular dogs, these are guide dogs. Okay, so they're not there as pets, they're there to help the visually impaired people. Suresh refuses to be served coffee by visually impaired baristas, but he does believe in donating to the visually impaired. So he says, I don't want to be served coffee by visually impaired. The following statements could explain why Suresh does not want to be served by visually impaired baristas. Baristas are people who serve coffee. First, he thinks that visually impaired are inefficient in serving coffee. Yes, probably if they are inefficient in serving coffee, it tells us about the reluctance of Suresh to be served by them. His parents have taught him to donate instead of accepting service from the challenge. Okay, yes, if his parents have taught him to not to accept services from the challenges, this is also one reason why he is not accepting coffee from visually impaired baristas. He believes that his refusal to be served will have adverse consequences. If he knows it will have adverse consequences, there is no reason for him to refuse. He feels joyous amongst visually impaired, sharing his life and caring for them. Too far-fetched, guys. Next. See, if he feels joyous among visually impaired, sharing his life and caring for them, why would he not accept coffee from them? Yes, Thakkar, I already clarified in the beginning of this class. I'm not going to go there again. Buddy, I just deliver these languages or deliver these courses. I don't go ahead and, prepare content for the class. So you're asking the wrong person. You have a question, you can share it. I'll be more than happy to help you with it. No. Moonlighting is a concept which basically started during COVID. So before COVID, people used to go to work and that's it. Then work from home started happening. So people started working for two organizations. एक लैपटॉप इधर एक लैपटॉप इधर दोनों का काम चल रहा है या फिर it still happens you work during the day for one organization you work at night for another organization so moonlighting is ethically not correct. आगे चले so let's read the argument first. Rimzim, see, you're asking a very simple question. So if say I am working for one organization, say I'm working for iQUANTA, right, and another organization approaches me to work for them as well, it will be unethical because I'm representing iQUANTA. It may be ethical if I have permission from iQUANTA and I then go work for someone else. That will be okay. But if I'm going behind iQUANTA's back and working for someone else, that is unethical. Don't you think? It's sort of cheating. It is unethical unless you have permission from both the organizations. Alright, let's get on with this. Moonlighting is the practice of working for one organization while also accepting additional responsibilities and jobs, typically without the employee's knowledge in another organization. That's exactly what I told you. It is named as such because it is typically performed at night or on the weekends. Doing 2 remote jobs at once was already happening. It was the biggest open secret out there in tech, said a US techie. Open secret, right? Due to weaker margins, major Indian IT companies such as Infosys, TCS and Wipro announced that they would delay, postpone or reduce variable payouts to employees for the first quarter of fiscal year 2023. This drew attention to moonlighting. The Indian IT industry was divided on the issue of moonlighting. Some considered it unethical while others viewed it as urgent necessity. Guys, that's what I said. If you're doing it without the employer's knowledge, then it's unethical. InfoZeta chairman Patrick's stance on this matter was crystal clear. There is a great deal of talk about people working part-time in the tech industry. This is cheating, pure and simple, he had tweeted. However, Macmillan, CEO of Beta Universe, does not consider moonlighting as cheating. Employment is a contract between an employer who pays me for working n number of hours per day, he explained. Now, what I do after that time is entirely up to me. I can do whatever I please. So yeah, you have varying stances on this. First question. Which of the following options will have the least negative consequences on moonlighting employees? Will have the least negative consequences. हाँ तो इसमें पहले लिखा है employer reducing daily working hours from 8 hours to 6 hours. Well, this will have the least negative consequences on moonlighting employees. Now again, so decision making is very, very important. You also have to take a look at from whose perspective are you taking a decision. The question is least negative consequence on moonlighting employees. तो moonlighting employees के लिए सबसे अच्छा काम क्या होगा? Employer reducing daily working hours from 8 hours to 6 hours. Yes, this will be a very positive thing for them. B says increased family problems because employees will not spend quality time at home. This is actually a negative consequence. Our question is least negative consequence. See, poor physical health of employees because of excess work. ये भी ठीक है. अगर आप ज्यादा काम कर रहे हैं और excess work की वजह से आपकी poor physical health हो रही है, this is also a negative consequence. D says employees' performance may be adversely affected because of overworking. Guys, if this is the case, employees' performance may be adversely affected because of overworking, then this is also a problem. This is also a negative consequence. Employer reducing salaries of employees because of moonlighting. ये भी तो moonlighting करने वालों के लिए. The employees, for the employees, it will be a negative consequence. The least negative consequence will clearly be A. Next. Next argument. मैच देखा किसी ने आज? आई नो वर्ल्ड कप के बाद मैच देखना बंद कर दिया, बट क्या बॉलिंग करी इंडिया ने, वाह वाह. 55 ऑल आउट साउथ अफ्रीका, ऑसम. Mr. Q is an IT professional who works for a small company in Bangalore. His office hours are from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thus, he wants to utilize his morning time. He thought of taking up extra work. However, he's not sure about the righteousness of his decision. His company does not have any clear policy on moonlighting. As he is confused, he seeks opinions of the people who work in his industry to understand ethical dimension of moonlighting. We have to choose which are the best. Moonlighting is unacceptable since the employer has a complete right over the employee. Guys, complete right would be too far-fetched. Moonlighting is the choice of the employee, and that the employer has no authority over the employee's conduct after office hours. So, choice 1 and 2 are both very extreme. Third, moonlighting leads to employee missing out on important organizational work. Yes, that is true. If you're giving, if your time is divided between 2 organizations, you might miss out on something. 4, while moonlighting, the employee might unknowingly leak critical information gained from one organization to the other. ये भी ठीक है, ये भी हो सकता है. Fifth, it is okay to moonlight as employers are exploitative and underpay employees. Okay, you can't say it is okay to moonlight. That doesn't justify anything. You started working on the salary which you started working on, right? It was an agreement. You can't start complaining later on. Which of the following combinations best help Mr. Q realize moonlighting is unethical? Clearly, 3 and 4. I think all of you answered correctly. So, next. So the CEO of the Jamshedpur tea factory was in a quandary. Quandary is a dilemma. Over employees skipping work, it was becoming increasingly difficult for him to identify employees who faked illness to skip work. The work of the employees was complex and intricate, and they had to report to 8 supervisors. Faking illness made it difficult for JTF to judiciously decide on promotion and training of employees. An employee could only be promoted on the completion of multi-skilling training program. Further, to be nominated for the training program, an employee must be recommended by a minimum of 6 supervisors. JTF wanted to promote only sincere and deserving employees. All right. तो हमें ये पता ही नहीं चल रहा है कौन काम कर रहा है कौन नहीं कर रहा है. That's the problem. The CEO was thinking of changing the policy regarding leave, training, and promotion. Which of the following will be most efficient course of action with JTF and yet be fair to the employees? Let supervisors decide on the leave of an employee. Guys, there are so many supervisors, there will be a conflict. Let the CEO office decide on promotion, but each supervisor will decide on the leave. Again, there are too many supervisors, this is not a good enough, this is not an efficient course. Let the CEO office decide on the leave as well as promotions. But how will the CEO be able to make an informed decision? उसको ये पता ही नहीं है कि कौन काम कर रहा है कौन नहीं कर रहा है. Let status quo continue, मतलब no promotion, जो जैसा चल रहा है वैसे चलने दो. E says let the CEO decide on leave, but supervisors will recommend promotions. Well, this is the best course of action, most efficient course of action. So one person decides on the leave, whether this was a legitimate leave or not, and then the supervisors will together decide whether this person needs to be promoted or not. This is, out of the given options, the most efficient course of action for sure. I hope this is clear. Yes? Most of you got this right. Which of the following policies will be most prone to error while selecting and deserving and sincere employees? Most prone to error, मतलब सबसे ज़्यादा errors होने का scope कहाँ पर है? Outsource all leaves decision to a doctor whose judgment will be final. This is not prone to error. If the doctor is deciding whether the leave was legitimate or not, this is actually a good idea. B says let the CEO office decide on promotions, but supervisors will decide on the leave. CEO office decide on promotions, but supervisors will decide. This is most prone to error, because if you remember, we have so many supervisors. One supervisor will say this is a proper leave, the other one will say this is not. So there will be a conflict. B looks like a good answer because it is most prone to error. C says outsource all leave decisions to a lawyer whose judgment will be final. Again, this is a good idea. Let the CEO office decide on leave, but supervisors will recommend the promotions. Okay, this is fine, but if supervisors will recommend the promotion, this is also again prone to error. Why? Because there are too many supervisors. एक होता तो ठीक था. Let the CEO office decide on the leave as well as promotions. Guys, the CEO cannot make an informed decision. So the best answer is B. Are we clear with this? It's not a good idea, Laviva, but it is not prone to judgment, prone to error. We are not saying which is the best idea. We are saying which is less prone to error, which is more prone to error rather. That's not a David's palette. That's not our concern. We're not concerned with how could he possibly say whether someone is sick or not. But we know this is not prone to error. A lawyer will have a set of parameters on which he or she would decide whether to grant this as a proper leave or not. Whatever the parameter is, it will state. Zain Samad, nahi main moonlighting nahi karta. Because C is not prone to error. The question is which is most prone to error. आगे चलें. चलिए नेक्स्ट. Done? So let's go over the argument once. The argument says Dhan, a poor but enterprising 15-year-old, resided in the world's largest slum in a metropolitan city along with her widowed mother. The densely packed slum housed about 1 million people, mostly in rickety one-room tenements, connected by labyrinthine lanes and by lanes. Labyrinth is basically a maze, bhool bhulaiya type. So connected by labyrinthine lanes, crisscross. Dhan's mother worked intermittently as a daily wager in a small savory factory. For a 15-year-old, Dhan's life was hectic. She spends 2 hours every day in fetching water for the household, packing breakfast and lunch for her mother. In addition, she has to prepare supper. On her mother's insistence, Dhan also attended an evening bridge school run by an NGO. Dhan's dream was to provide a comfortable life to her mother and take her family out of poverty. Of late, Dhan observed that the customers to a nearby tea cum savory stall tea cum savory stall is TCS. This is funny. Tea cum savory stall were mostly the slum dwellers who thronged the stall for its low prices and lack of alternatives. Further, Dhan gathered that the TCS could not cater to all of its customers, and the owner still made a neat 800 profit per day. Dhan saw that a probable first step towards a family's economic independence could be to own her own TCS. Alright. Interesting passage, easy. I mean, the passages are easy, they're not very complicated. It's the question, the decision that you have to make. From the following, choose the best option that will increase Dhan's chances of realizing her dream of starting a venture. Alright. Best option that will increase Dhan's chances of realizing, right. A. Hire someone at 10 per day to fetch water for the household. She does not have that kind of money. Request mother to fetch water for the household, but mother is old. Request mother to pack her own breakfast and lunch. Well, D could be a good answer. Request mother to stop working and be a partner in the new venture. Because what would then happen is it would also support the venture that she's experienced. She had to prepare supper. She would not have to take the time. The problem of time will be taken care of if she starts working and be a partner in the new venture. She would not have to cook separately. Yes. E says stop going to the bridge school. No. The best option that will increase Dhan's chances of realizing her dream would be request mother to stop working and be a partner in the new venture. Yes, everybody's answered this correctly, I think, so I'll move on. Within 2 years of establishment, Dhan's TCS is not only outcompeting its nearest rivals in the slum, but has also earned a goodwill for the quality and taste of its products. Hence, it has become famous within the slum as Dhan Dhanadan brand. Dhan now aspires to expand the reach of its savories into the metropolitan region. Dhan wishes to scale up her savory production from 100 kg to 1000 kg per day while maintaining quality. Dhan realizes that her establishment does not have the space for expansion on its own. Which of the following options will best help Dhan to scale up production with least investment, tightly control quality, and also protect her business interest? Okay, so what other things do we need? Okay, A says buy additional space within the slum and establish own manufacturing unit, right? Outsource the production along with secret recipes to a mass savory production unit outside the slum. Okay. Lease space in the metropolitan region and establish a manufacturing unit of TCS. Stop catering to the slum dwellers and start serving the metropolitan region exclusively. No. E says provide the savory dough and preparation instructions to 100 willing women in the slum and co-opt them as business partners. I think this is the best answer here. So guys, there is this TV series or a movie, I'm not sure what was out. It was called Tumse Na Ho Payega. It was there on Hotstar. This entire case reminds me of that particular TV series. If you've seen it, you probably relate. So he wanted to do, he quit his job, he wanted to do something, and he did this. He started cooking and giving out tiffins to other people, and then eventually he did what he says: provide the savory dough and preparation instruction to 100 willing women in the slum and co-opt them as business partners. So Dhan would not have to pay them; they will have some sort of income, and also the production will increase, while no extra space would be required. Yes, you're talking about too far-fetched something. Abhi, this is the question. What's the best course of action? You're talking about repercussions of the decision that you take. We don't have to bother about it. Dhan, with her ingenuity, finds a way to scale up her production capacity on her own terms. Though Dhan's TCS has become the famous Dhandanadan brand within the slum, it is still unknown to the outside world. Thus, Dhan embarks on the next challenge of creating a market for savories amongst the masses in the metropolitan region. From the following option, Choose the best option that will help Dhan to sell a product at the lowest price to a maximum number of metropolitan customers. Hire a celebrity who currently endorses a diamond jewelry brand to endorse the Dhandhanandan brand. इतने तो पैसे ही नहीं है. We don't have that kind of money. B says overwhelm the metropolitan residents with digital advertisements on Instagram. We don't have that kind of money either. And we you need to understand they come from slums and they might not be very aware of digital advertisements. Though I have to tell you this, that I've actually gone ahead and taught in very, very poor schools and downtrodden schools. I've taught in slum areas as well. Those kids are actually very, very on board with Instagram. They create reels and they're dancing and God knows what not. They don't have a phone, but they're extremely active in Instagram. Well, that's a story for another time. C says engage slum dwellers commuting daily to metropolitan regions for work to sell the products on commission basis. Good idea. You're going to the metropolitan area anyway, right? So your travel cost is taken care of. Again, this is what happened in Tumse Na Ho Payega. He said whichever office you're going to, deliver food there. So if you're going there anyway, your travel cost is taken care of, and you're selling this on a commission basis. So you're earning as well, which gives you further incentive. C is a good answer. D says hire a few sales executives to sell products of Dhandhanandan brand. We can't hire sales executives, guys. Understand, we don't have that kind of money. Reach out to the malls and high-end retail stores in the metropolitan region, through a few marketing executives to sell the products. Reach out, we can't do that either. C, we don't have that kind of money. So, C. Okay, I see most of you answered C, so moving on. Chota sa hi hai. So let's get on with it. In recent years, complaints of sexual harassment in the fair consulting had increased exponentially. Fair consulting had a gender-neutral anti-sexual harassment policy and a committee to adjudicate on complaints. During the hearing of complaints, allegations and counter-allegations would fly thick and fast. This made it difficult for the adjudicating committee to conclusively decide on the complaints. Allegations and counter-allegations would fly thick and fast. So जितने allegations थे उतने ही counter-allegations भी थे. इससे प्रॉब्लम हो रही थी जज करने में. Next, Fair Consulting was mulling over 3 interventions to reduce sexual harassment cases in the workplace. Interventions is when you talk to someone. Intervention is when you, how do I say? So basically an intervention is interfering with the outcome of a course. Like it is generally, so say there is a problem, someone is facing a problem, someone is say depressed or not working properly or has some sort of an addiction. So your family friends can come around and talk to that person and tell them what are the problems associated with what they're doing. Intervention, वही बात हो रही है. So you talking about interventions. Which of the following options, यहाँ से question, which of the following options will employees find the least ostracizing? Ostracize is to throw someone out, expel someone. Educate employees about the company's anti-sexual harassment policy. Yes, sounds good. Profile employees with a propensity to engage in acts of sexual harassment. This is targeting employees, guys. This would not be fair. Discipline sexual offenders, but we're not even sure who sexual offenders are. And also we're talking about an intervention. Only one is a proper intervention. C is correct. The CEO of Fair Consulting wanted the adjudicating committee to reduce the number of errors while deciding on sexual harassment complaints. The employees suggested that the committees could do the following to reduce errors in judgment. Errors in judgment, mind you, errors in judgment पूछा है. Listen to arguments of both the complainant and the accused together. Okay, yes. Listen to the arguments of both the complainant and the accused separately. This is a better idea. Involve a member of Women's Commission. This would make the decision biased. Take the help of a retired judge. Who's the judge to say anything? Hire a forensic expert to verify evidences. You could do that as well, but that is extremely far-fetched. Like if someone has touched someone or the other, you could do that. The best way forward would be this, second would be this, and then third would be this. Do I have 215? Do I have 215? C is the best answer. Yes, you've got this correct as well. Of late, the adjudicating committee received a complaint from a junior female consultant. Her immediate boss cracked a bawdy joke about her in the office tuck shop. When the committee probed the alleged misconduct, they identified an independent witness. She agreed to give her testimony to the committee. However, she was unsure if she would like to be identified either by the complainant or the accused. The convener of the committee was confused about the stance to be taken on the witness's concern. Which of the following will be the best stance to be taken by the convener? Now, the convener was confused about the stance to be taken on the witness's concern. The witness wants to be anonymous. Best stance to be taken by the convener. What can the convener do in this case? The convener should ensure that the witness identifies herself, because both the accused and the complainant must identify themselves. See, that would go against the victim, against the witness's will. B says the convener should ensure that witness identify herself as it will. See, we can't ensure that the witness identify herself, as it will ensure that she will not present frivolous proof related to the inquiry. No, that makes no sense. The convener should not let witness's identity be revealed, as it might expose her to a threat either from the respondent or the accused. Makes good sense. C, the convener should not allow witness's identity to be revealed, as either the accused or the complainant can use the witness's arguments to their advantage. Guys, that would depend on what the argument is, what the witness says. You can't be sure of what the witness says. The convener should not allow witness's identity to be revealed, because complainant can sabotage the inquiry information. Because complainant can sabotage the inquiry. This is too far. The best answer again here is C. Yes? Alright. Read this, guys. I'll be back with you in 5 minutes. Thank you for waiting, guys. Thank you for waiting. Done with this? पढ़ लिया ये? चलिए आगे चलते हैं. Fundamental research in science and corporate applications is an R&D unit of a public sector undertaking. FURCA's employees are research scientists who assist the public sector undertaking through their R&D. Given the far-reaching implications of its research, FURSCA was established as a separate entity near the factory of the PSU. FURSCA has 3 levels of hierarchy: junior, senior and chief scientists, and all of them reside on the campus. Hence, every scientist, regardless of hierarchy, resides in a house that is similar in all aspects. Though the scientists are entitled to a house rent allowance (HRA), given the distance of FURSCA from the city, housing them on the campus makes sense. The new recruits are provided transit accommodation in institute studio apartments until vacant houses are available. For these recruits, a queue has been created on the basis of the date of joining and not on hierarchy, with the most recent recruit going to the last in the queue. Execution of this policy is responsible for the FURSCA's Chief Administrative Officer, who reports to the Director of FURSCA. So you have FURSCA R&D unit hai, and they are research scientists. FURSCA was in a remote location. HRA de rahe hain, but resides in a house that is similar on the campus. Housing them on the campus makes sense. Alright, this is what we have. Harsh Kohli resides in the house number 324. For a long time, Harsh wants to move from a 3 series house to a 2 series house because his mother-in-law, a chief scientist, lives alone in house number 225. A few years back, Harsh formally requested the CAO to allow him to move into a 2 series house whenever available. Recently, with house number 224 becomes vacant, Harsh appeals to the CAO for that house, citing his earlier request. Currently, there are 5 scientists waiting in the queue, and South Tangod is on the top of the queue. From the following options, choose the best action to be taken by the CAO without violating the existing house policy. Decent question. Ignore Harsh's request since it violates the housing policy. Ask Harsh to move to a house number 224 and immediately allocate Harsh's house to South. This would make sense because Harsh's application would also be taken and it would not violate the policy because South is on the top of the queue. He would get a house immediately and Harsh would be able to move next to her mother. Okay, see, create a separate queue for extant residents and give them the first right to refuse. Well, you are giving them right to refuse. This would not help matters. Allot house number 224 to South, asking Harsh to negotiate a possible swap with South. Guys, this is the CAO's responsibility. Harsh and South should not have to solve it between them. Ask Harsh to join the queue because scientists in the queue should be given priority. Harsh already has a house. He should not be asked to join. He should not be asked to get in the queue. B makes the most sense here. Yeah, great. Rawang Regrut joins FURSCA recently and is placed 3rd in the housing queue. He has been temporarily housed in a studio apartment. Given that the studio apartment is too small, he requests his sister to take care of their ailing parents while he awaits a regular house allotment. As the months pass, his sister finds it difficult to accommodate her parents along with her in-laws. She requests Rawang to accommodate them with his family. Since he is 3rd in the queue, he may not get a house allotted in the near future. He approaches the CAO with a request to be moved up the queue of humanitarian grounds. Which of the following responses by CAO shall be perceived as the most appropriate by all the stakeholders? A says, ask Rawang to negotiate and arrive at consensus with the 2 scientists ahead in the queue which the CAO shall implement. This is similar. This is the CAO's decision. CAO should be taking the decision. He should not be asking Rawang to, arrive at a consensus with the other 2 scientists. Inform Rawang that nothing can be done since violation of rules will set a wrong precedence. Guys, he is asking this to be done on a humanitarian ground. Nothing can be done would be too harsh. Ask Ravang to meet with the director of FURSC and present his case to get an exception. Again, this would be CEO running away from his duties. D says move Ravang to the top of the queue and make a rule that scientists with ailing parents shall be given preference. You can't just go about changing rules. E says facilitate Ravang in getting a house in the city along with free accommodation for the first 3 months. Yes, that makes sense. Getting a house in the city along with free commutation for the first 3 months till the time he can get another house himself. And of course, in 3 months, there is a high chance that he will be able to get a house on his own. I mean, accommodation within the campus, that is. Yes, all right. Of late, the CAO has received several requests from the residents of 3 series houses to move to other series houses. The CAO is aware that this is large because of their own noisy factory nearby. Due to limited housing available on the campus, he must do something before the problem worsens. He wants to find a solution that makes the lives of 3 series residents more comfortable. Which of the following actions can best help the CAO in achieving his goal? So we're looking for a solution that makes the lives of 3 series residents more comfortable. And the discomfort is because of the noisy environment. Noisy environment की दिक्कत है बस, ठीक है ना? Introduce a policy of accelerated promotion for junior scientists living in 3 series quarters. This is too extreme a step. Appeal to the top management to make the factory work for only 5 days a week. You can't do that. Install expensive soundproof windows in the 3 series quarters. Guys, this is a long-term investment. It is expensive, but it will take care of this problem in the future as well. So it is a good investment. Offer a higher HRA to 3 series residents, nudging them to move to the city. No, that wouldn't make sense. Provide 3 series residents with a hardship allowance of 15% basic salary. That does not take care of the problem of noise. Expensive hai, but this is a long-term solution, hence C is the best course of action. We clear with this? Are we clear with this? If we are, let's move on. I think we're good. Chaliye, next. Future Leaders is one of the most prestigious private schools in small town next to an industrial hub. Most of its students come from affluent families, but there are some who belong to middle income and lower middle income families as well. The school charges an annual fee of 2 lakhs inclusive of all charges payable at the beginning of the academic year. Roughly 20% of the fees collected go into paying the salaries of the teachers, another 30% for the upkeep of school, and roughly 20% for miscellaneous expenses running day-to-day business like supply, cleaning, etc. The remaining goes into an exigency corpus. This year, like the rest of the country, the town has been hit by the coronavirus pandemic. The classes have been shifted online. The local authorities have mandated that all schools have to reduce their fees by 20%. Further, parents should be given extended time to pay the fees if they are in financial distress. 6 months into the academic year, only 40% of the parents have paid even the reduced annual fees, something that we all experienced. Ajay Biswas, the rector of the school, is alarmed by the shortfall in fee payments and wants to find the best solution to manage the situation. He does not want to trouble the parents who might be genuinely in financial distress, but feels that there may be a possibility that many parents are taking advantage of the situation. Which of the following actions by the school will best make financially capable parents pay the fees? This is a good idea. Ask parents to submit proof of financial distress within 2 weeks, failing which can bar their wards from attending classes. I think this is a very good step. This would ensure that so this would bring out the disparity in incomes. This would tell us who are able to pay the fee and not paying it yet. A looks like a good answer. Let's consider the others as well. Share through local newspapers that the school is facing a financial crunch and may have to close down if parents don't pay fees. This would put burden on also those parents who are unable to pay the fees. But we are only looking at those people who are taking advantage of the situation. C. Give a 10% bonus mark to all those students who have paid the fees. This again would be unfair because there are people who are able to pay the fees and there are people who are not able to pay the fees. Call parents every 3 days requesting them to pay the fees and help their school out. As a school, guys, you can't go around pleading to parents. Offer 10 and 5% discount to paying fees within the next 1 week and 2 weeks respectively. Again, putting unnecessary pressure on people who are not financially well off. Best answer is A. Right? Next. The board of trustees of the school is concerned about the current financial situation and has called Biswas for a meeting. The trustees have thought of the following actions as listed below to improve the school finances immediately. P says, appeal to the school industrialists to donate to the school. Okay. Withhold 20% of teacher salary till the situation improves. Alright. Ask parents to pay up within a week or show proof of financial distress. Okay. Stop online classes for a week to signal the desperate financial crunch. Right, this could also be done. Start an extra section in every class and offer admission to whoever is willing to pay the fees. Biswas is tasked to find the most feasible way of alleviating the financial crunch immediately. I think the best option is P. Local industries to donate to the school. Philanthropists हैं, वो दे सकते हैं पैसे. Show proof of financial distress is also good. Stop online classes for a week to finance. Yes, this could also be a good idea. Withhold 20% of teacher salary would be taxing on the teachers, but okay. It is at least better than this. Start an extra section in every class and offer admission to whoever is willing to pay the fees. Guys, please understand the school does not have enough money. How can they start a new section? This is the least feasible thing to do. So PRSQT. That's the best answer. Great. Teachers of future leaders contribute to its stellar reputation. Moreover, they assist the school in arriving at several critical decisions. Biswas resents their involvement in school matters as he has to listen to their collective voice rather than the other way around. Biswas feels that the current situation offers him an opportunity to get back at the teachers. He wants to discuss the possibility of reducing teachers' salaries by 20% with the board of trustees. Okay, you don't have to question whether this is the right thing to do or not. The question is, which of the following, if true, will best enable Biswas to present his case for reducing teachers' fees? So all you have to focus, again, this is decision making from the perspective of Biswas. We are not to decide whether this is the right thing to do or not. We are to figure out which of the following will best enable Biswas to present his case for reducing teachers' salaries. That's the question. Option A says, future leaders pay higher salaries to a teacher in comparison to other schools in the city. Well, this does not help us present his case for reducing teachers' salaries. Teachers' salaries are a significant part of the school's operating cost. Also, guys, option A says pays higher salaries. It does not necessarily have to do with future leaders. Maybe their teachers are more qualified, they are more experienced, and that's why getting paid more. Teachers' salaries are a significant part of the school's operating cost. Yes, it is correct. This is not a good reason though. C says 30% of most experienced teachers may resign if there is a pay cut. Well, if that is the case, then it is not enabling Biswas to present his case for reducing teacher salaries. In fact, this is telling us that teacher salaries should not be reduced. Option D says 2 other well-known private schools in the city struggling to survive has resorted to a pay cut and they are still working. So, out of the given option, D is the best so far. E says most of the teachers are alumni of the school and hence should be asked to give back to the school through a pay cut. Guys, this is asking too much. Just because someone is an alumni, you can't ask them to give back to the school. The best answer in this case is D. Clear with this? Yes, shall we move ahead? Okay, great. Read this, please. Okay, let's read this. Korkai is a serene village nestled in a small island separated from the mainland by a strait the world forgot to name. Its inhabitants are mostly fishermen. A few are cattle grazers too. A boat ride across the strait is the only mode of transport to the mainland. Budge, the boatman, ferries people, cattle and bicycles around the strait in his boat for a living. The remoteness and the lack of connection to the mainland has served him well. He has a family of 5. His 2 daughters are away studying in a city college and dream of a corporate job in the cities. His ailing mother and wife complete his family. Budgu's I think there is a misprint, sent his daughters to study in the city as there is only one school in Korkai run by an NGO. The NGO prepares the village kids for higher studies. For those who cannot go to cities, the NGO teaches them about the virtues of the local way of life. Bedgul is a member of the village panchayat that runs the village administration. At Korkai, hardly anyone remembers the local MLA or MPA. Interestingly, the local MLA visited last week and informed the islanders of major changes planned for the region, urgent construction of a bridge connecting the island to the mainland, and real estate development. She announced that the island will become a well-known ecotourism destination in the state. She stressed that the local livelihood dependent on fortunes at the sea might enjoy the certainty in minimum wages, meted out by the eco-resort owners. Nevertheless, some villages fear that the bridge will irreversibly change their lives and livelihoods. Make sense? So Korkai abhi connected nahi hai, it's not connected to the mainland. Boats se hi ja sakte hain. The MLA says we'll build a bridge. Some villages fear that the bridge will irreversibly change their lives and livelihoods because, of course, there will be too much interference, so on and so forth. Let's go to questions. Budgu fears that the proposed bridge will leave him jobless and is determined to do something about it. Why? Because he ferries a boat. He wants to gather effective support in order to get the construction of the proposed bridge delayed. Which of the following will be the most feasible option for Budgu to gather effective support? A. Form a boat rowers association and sit on a hunger strike to protest the proposed bridge. Possible? हो सकता है. हो सकता है लेकिन too extreme. और हो सकता है and quite possibly nobody would pay heed to what Budgu has to do. B says get a resolution passed by the panchayat that the bridge will ruin the local way of life. This looks like a good answer. Panchayat passing a resolution will be more credible. More people will pay more heed to what the panchayat has to say. So B for now. C says inform the environmental experts in the nearby cities that the strait is home to rare fish, frogs and turtles. Guys, this would also not do much because once the bridge is constructed, the strait would be there where it is. D. Partner with the local NGO and campaign that the developments will ruin the local way of life. So guys, A and D are similar. Campaign is not going to help them as much as a panchayat's resolution would. E says suspend his boat services till the villages start supporting his cause. Well, this is far-fetched as well because soon the bridge will be constructed and suspending his boat will not help him. Clearly, B is the best answer. Next, the local MLA is worried about the resistance to the project. This project, like her other successful projects in nearby villages, was supposed to garner a significant amount of funding. Moreover, it would make her the face of development in the state, perhaps even would land her a ministerial berth. However, Budgu's activism has cast the project in a bad light among the popular minds. The MLA wants to protect her pro-development image. Which of the following is the best course of action for the MLA? Again, a typical decision-making question. You have to think from the perspective of the MLA. You don't have to gauge whether this is the right thing to do or not. what would be the best course of action for the MLA is what you have to decide. Option A says, invite the village panchayat for a discussion on a possible compromise solution. Publicize widely that the project will improve the socio-economic condition of the island. I think this looks good from the MLA's perspective. C says, appoint a task force to find alternative land nearby for the project. D says, create a fishermen and boat rowers cooperative in the island and donate generously to it. This does not, okay, if you are donating generously to it, it does not tell us why the construction of the bridge will be a good thing. E says, discredit Budugu in a public meeting by announcing that he is putting his interest over and above the village development. The MLA is also a public servant. E would be going too far. The best course of action, again, the best course of action for the MLA, we don't have to judge whether this is the right thing to do or not. We're only figuring out what is the best thing for the MLA to do. Right? Are we clear with this? Yes, okay. As the project gets delayed, Budugu becomes a well-known social activist with a lot of followers. When Pragati, his elder daughter, finishes her education and starts looking for employment, a few known corporates refuse her a job because of her father's anti-development stand. Which of the following option best communicates to the corporate that Pragati has an identity of her own? This is a very good set, okay guys? This is, you have to think first from the point of Budugu, then from the point of an MLA, and now from the point of Pragati. This is a typical DM question. Go all out on social media to explain how a father's activism is misconstrued by certain corporates. It doesn't address the question, it does not address that her daughter has an identity of her own. We have to communicate that Pragati has an identity of her own. That's our main criteria. A does not do that. Stop using her last name in her job applications. Again, too far-fetched, guys. People will know anyway. See, showcase on social media that accolades and awards she received in her college. Yes. She should highlight her achievements rather than downgrading anyone else. She should highlight what she's done in life. C looks good. D says, discuss in a social media post why she supports the proposed development in her island village. She's supporting the proposed development but does not tell us that she has an identity of her own. If anything, she's supporting her father. E, start a blog and update it regularly with views on current affairs. This will not tell us how she has an identity of her own. C would best solve the dilemma. Right? Are we clear with this set? Moving on then. So the argument says, Raghuveer, a reputed doctor, practices medicine in a tier 3 city. So you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 is like a metropolitan city, tier 2 thoda niche, tier 3 is backward. He owns an imported SUV which he bought 10 years ago using hard-earned savings of nearly 5 years. Initially, he used to take it for long rides, but for the last 6-7 years, he only commutes to his clinic, a 10-minute drive from his own. The SUV has been his proud possession, but it demands high maintenance. Also, the diesel guzzling SUV does not comply with the new emission norms being introduced in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, so he cannot take it outside. Of late, a few newspapers reported that the new emission norms may be introduced in 3-tier cities as well. This news has worried Raghuveer, of course, because he has his SUV, he will not be able to drive it. Raghuveer is afraid that once the new emission norms are rolled out, he might not be able to use his SUV anymore. Which of the following options will best put Raghuveer at ease with using his SUV for some more time? His mechanic assures him that the new norms will not be introduced anytime soon. His lawyer friends in his city recently brought non-compliant SUVs from 2-tier cities. His non-compliant SUVs are still plying in 2-tier cities. His city has many other SUVs which are as old as his. As a sought-after doctor, all the law enforcement officials are his patients. This is a good question again. His lawyer friends in his city recently brought non-compliant SUVs from 2-tier cities. Guys, lawyers are generally much more aware of the laws and norms, okay? So out of all these options, he should stick to his lawyer friend's position as the best, and clearly B serves as the best answer. Right. Next. Anya, Raghuveer's daughter, works in a metro city. She is concerned about private transport emissions and is unhappy with her father's diesel guzzling SUV. Though she wants her father to be more environmentally responsible, she is aware that any drastic suggestion might attract strong resistance. Hence, she wants a solution acceptable to Raghuveer that gently dissuades him from using his SUV on a daily basis. Which of the following actions by Anya will best dissuade Raghuveer from using SUV on a daily basis? Gift Raghuveer a small petrol car and convince him to sell his SUV. So this will be too far-fetched. See, Raghuveer is attached to his SUV, so he won't sell it. Ask Raghuveer's secretary to ferry him to the clinic daily in a car except for the weekends. This would help Raghuveer drive his SUV a little less. This would take care of Anya's concern, and Raghuveer would be driving on the weekends as well, so Raghuveer's case would also not suffer that much. C. Ask his mechanic to explore if the SUV can be retrofitted with a CNG kit. Well, that would also emotionally devalue Raghuveer's possession. D. Take away Raghuveer's SUV to the metro city and gift him a new SUV. Guys, this is too far-fetched again. Raghuveer is not going to sell his SUV. He is emotionally attached to it. He says, request Raghuveer to use public transport for his daily commute and use the SUV sparingly. This is a drastic suggestion, might attract strong resistance. So clearly, B is the best answer in this case. Yes? Alright. The new emission norms are about to get implemented in tier 3 cities, and Raghuveer's city will follow suit shortly. Hence, Raghuveer starts exploring options of buying an electric vehicle. He lists the following factors that will guide him in buying an electric car. P says EVs with Raghuveer's budget can cover him his daily commute but not the long rides. Q. A new electric SUV in the market within his budget nearly has the same look and feel as his present SUV. R says EVs cannot be driven beyond the speed of 70 km per hour. Okay. S. New charging stations on the main highway connecting the city to the closest metro city may come up in another year. Alright. T. The only shop selling EVs in his city is ready to trade in Raghubir's SUV at a reasonable price. The above listed factors have been arranged in decreasing orders of influence in the options given below. So, decreasing order. Decreasing order as in which would be the factor which would influence the most in buying an electric car? The most. This would be the most influential. Yes? He can trade his SUV as well. So this would be second. Okay, he says daily commute but not the long rides. We need to understand he hardly goes on long rides anymore. So this could be a good third option. New charging stations on the main highway connecting the city to the closest metro city may come up in another year. So another reason to buy an electric vehicle. EVs cannot be driven beyond a speed of 70 kilometers. This is actually a demerit. So this will be the least important. QTPSR. Clearly your answer is option B. Are we clear with this? I hope this is clear. Yes, Sripada, correct. Well said. Okay. Sundaresan was a professor of corporate responsibility at a premium management institution. As a requirement for his course, students had to synthesize sustainability challenges faced by thermal power companies and submit an assignment on them. Though it was an individual assignment, some students sought permission from Sundaresan to work on the assignment as a team. Sundaresan knew that collaboration fosters peer learning and therefore allowed them to work in teams. Okay, simple. However, the mandate is that a team should not exceed 3 members. While 15 students elected to work individually, the other 15 formed teams of 3 each and another 10 formed teams of 2 members each, which is fine. As the assignment deadline came closer, Sundaresan was approached by Abbas Waram, who chose to work in a team of 3 members. He informed Sundaresan that Venkama, his team member distressed by the death of her grandmother, could not work on her bit of the assignment. Abbas requested a deadline extension so that she could finish her part on the assignment. By then, many students who were working alone had already submitted their assignment. Which of the following actions by Sundaresan is the most appropriate given the circumstances? Interesting question. Give extra time to Venkama who work individually and ask the other 2 to stick to the original deadline as a team. This would be too harsh on Venkama. Also, 3 were doing this together. You can't ask 2 of them. He wanted to foster teamwork and peer learning. So it can be eliminated. Disband the team and ask each student to work individually. That would defeat the purpose of team building altogether. Warn Abbas that such issues should not be flagged to the professor and should be handled within the team. Well, this is actually a good idea. This is what teamwork actually talks about. If one person is not able to finish the work, you don't go about reporting that person. In fact, as a team, you collaborate, you work together and probably do that person's work as well. C looks like a good answer. Also, he's telling us this should not be flagged. It is a good learning. You have to take care of a team, and team works as one single entity. D says extend the deadline for the team while imposing a 1 grade penalty for the deadline extension. That would also be unfair. You can't extend the deadline. The team has to finish the work, not an individual. And you can't complain that an individual is not doing, so the team is not doing well. E says give the students a deadline extension but add an extra assignment of the team as a new requirement. Far-fetched. Okay, clearly C. Right, next. When Sundaresan was about to grade the assignments, he received a request from the class representative regarding the student who worked individually. The request was to give those students additional marks because they handled the entire workload. This would improve their course grade significantly. Which of the following is most appropriate action by Sundaresan to mark the assignments? Guys, there is a flaw in the request itself, right? Nobody wanted them to work individually, and some people can work individually well, some people cannot work in a team. Sundaresan wanted to promote team effort. So let's see. Which of the following is most appropriate action by Sundaresan to mark the assignment? Treat both individual work and teamwork equal. I think this is it. We've got the answer. You can't, give more marks to a person because they worked individually. It was a choice they took, one they shouldn't have. B says give 10% extra marks to all those who worked individually. Unfair. This would be very unfair. C says reduce marks for those who worked in teams by 10%. Again, you can't reduce marks for those who worked in teams by 10%. This would defeat the entire purpose of teamwork altogether. Convert the assignment into non-graded assignment because both the individuals and the teams worked on the same assignment. No, we can't do that. Why would we make it a non-graded assignment? Divide the total marks awarded. This would be very, very unfair. You should divide the marks. You should award the entire team, the same amount of marks. So A is the simplest and most ethical solution. Sundaresan was going through the submitted assignments. Team 9 with 3 members had impressive exhibits and charts. Later he discovered that Team 13 with 3 members also had the same exhibits and charts. He realized that one of the teams had copied from the other. Hence he informed both the teams that he would award an F to both the teams for copying. Later that evening, Ashi from Team 9 called and admitted to sharing exhibits and charts with Anvi of Team 13. Further, she mentioned that Anvi could not put enough effort since she had lost a significant amount of time due to COVID-19. Therefore, Anvi requested help. However, Anvi assured Ashi that she would not reproduce the shared content. Ashi requested Sundaresan to punish her and Anvi and spare others that they were not involved. This is an ethical dilemma for Sundaresan. Which of the following action by Sundaresan is the most appropriate? Guys, a team takes responsibility for everything. It's a teamwork. You cannot single out an individual and let the team go. So I think this is also very simple. A says award an F grade to both Ashi and Anvi and spare others. No, that would be unfair. We are not talking about Ashi and Anvi. We are talking about their teams. B says ask both the teams to work on an extra assignment to avoid an F grade. No, you've already given them a chance. They should have taken care of it in the first go. Punish both the team by giving F grades. Absolutely, definitely do this. Spare both the teams as such a confession is rare. No, just because you confess doesn't make a wrong a right. Punish Anvi with an F grade and spare others. This would also be unfair. So clearly, C is the best answer. Are we clear with this? Done? Let's see. Excuse me. Dilip Dosan sells dosas in front of an upscale hospital in a city in Punjab. He only sells two varieties of dosas, plain for ₹25 and masala for ₹40. His dosa stall is popular amongst the hospital staff members, who mostly hail from South India and form his core clientele. They frequent his stall during office hours as they find his dosas to be reasonably priced. Though the hospital staff members can visit the upscale food court on the top floor of the hospital, they prefer his stall for breakfast and lunch, and even for occasional evening snacks. His daily sale volume varies between 300 and 400 dosas, in which the demand for masala dosa is around 50 to 60%. Simple, eh? One day, Dilip, while walking through the hospital food court, sees a vacant spot. He wonders if he can shift his stall to that spot. Which of the following information will dissuade him the most from shifting his stall to the food court? Interesting. Dissuade matlab not persuade, or stop him, restrict him from doing so. All the restaurants in the food court except for the fast food stalls serve North Indian meals during lunchtime. Well, A would actually persuade him to shift. Why? Because he would be offering choice. The food court sees a daily footfall of about 5,000 people, also gives him a good option to go ahead and shift there. On inquiry, he learned that the cheapest dish in the food court is priced at rupees 200. So if he shifts to the food court, see, his clientele goes at 25, 40. So that's his clientele. If he shifts to the food court, he'll have to sell something he'll have to increase the price and he'll probably lose his clientele. So this could probably dissuade him from shifting the stall to the food court. D says the food court closes by 10:30 p.m. though his current stall is open till midnight. Well, this is also a good idea as to why he should not shift. The food court has no other stall selling dosas. This is a good idea. If there is no other stall selling dosas, probably if you shift there, his dosas are likely to sell more. So clearly, C. Next question. Dilip shifts his stall to the hospital food court. He prices his plain dosa at ₹40 and masala dosa at ₹60. However, 2 months on, he is serving only about 150 dosas per day. The clientele is mostly the same hospital staff members who had been his customers before he moved to the food court. Which of the following actions will best help Dilip in increasing his sales? Another good question. Introduce a North Indian meal and give discount of 20% to the hospital staff members. But we know hospital staff members mostly prefer South Indian because they are from South India. So introducing a North Indian meal would not help. Reduce the price by 20% for hospital staff and increase the price by 50% for others. Well, that would be a little biased. And the clientele is mostly the same, so that would not help. Add more varieties of dosa at higher price points. See, higher price points reduce plain and masala dosa prices to 25 and 40 respectively. So he's giving you other varieties of dosa. People are likely to go ahead and have those. Reduce plain and masala dosa prices 25 and 40 respectively. So probably offering a variety will help in increasing his sales. C looks good. Increase prices of all the food items by 50%, introduce a new Szechuan dosa at 200 a plate. Guys, if you increase the price, chances are that the demand will fall. People are less likely to throng to the place. E. Introduce a South Indian meal exclusively for the hospital staff members at a discounted rate of 40 per plate. Guys, the clientele is the same, so there is no reason of exclusivity. Adding more varieties is the best way forward. Bhavika, for D says food court closes by 10:30 p.m. though his current stall is open till midnight. This neither persuades nor dissuades Dilip from moving. This is irrelevant. On the first anniversary of his stall at the food court, Dilip reviews his customer base. Almost all his customers are hospital staff members. Though he wishes to serve the general visitors of the hospital, they avoid his stall. On inquiring, he discovers that visitors generally avoid his stall because it is majorly frequented by the hospital staff members, giving it a feel of staff canteen. Dilip realizes his best efforts have not given him any extra sales and the visitors can potentially increase his revenue by a considerable amount. Which of the following options can best help Dilip in discouraging hospital staff members from visiting his stall while increasing his overall revenue? A says provide a discount to those hospital staff members. Okay, so best help Dilip in discouraging hospital staff members. Now, again, you might say, why would he discourage hospital staff members? But that is not what we have to think about. We only have to think about the task at hand. Which of the following best helps Dilip in discouraging hospital staff members? What is it that will work? Why or why not is not our concern. Okay? So let's see. Provide a discount to those hospital staff members who order on phone and deliver food in their staff. Okay, I think this is the best idea. So he's not cutting his base, he's not cutting his clientele, he's giving them a free option. So his original clientele is maintained, but nobody will visit his canteen either. Nobody will visit his food stall. So people will not feel like it is a staff canteen. A clearly is the best answer. B says introduce a massive discount in the price for the next 2 months to increase the footfall. No. C, charge the hospital staff members a premium to offset the losses due to their presence. In this case, he would also lose the hospital staff members, which is not a good idea for business. D, appeal to the hospital management to give a space in the staff room where an exclusive dosa counter can be set up by Dilip. Too far-fetched. Request the hospital management to prohibit hospital staff from entering the food court. Guys, he does not want to lose clients. He does not want to lose clients and also make sure that hospital staff members are discouraged from visiting his stall. A clearly is the best answer. Are we clear with this? We clear? Moving on. Read this. थोड़ा लेंदी है, टेक टाइम इन रीडिंग इट, डोंट रश. Right, let's see what we have here. A to Z is a state-funded leading engineering college in the country, renowned for its teaching and placements. Now A to Z aspires to be a global leader in research as well. A to Z has therefore decided to push for better quality research from its newly recruited faculty members. In the past, a few faculty members were confirmed because of their exceptional teaching feedback, even though their research output was below par. Currently, the Dean is in consultation with the Academic Council, has included the quality of research as a mandatory requirement along with teaching excellence for the confirmation of the newly recruited faculty members. Initially, newly recruited faculty members are put on probation for 3 years. Either they are confirmed or their probation is extended or their services are terminated based on teaching and research contributions. So, both the things are now a major factor. Once confirmed, their job is secure along with other additional prerequisites. Aparna joined the Social Sciences Department of A to Z 2 years back. She is amongst the many faculty members recruited after the new norms for confirmation were introduced. She completed a doctorate from a reputed university in the USA with a significant research contribution. However, after joining A to Z, Aparna got deeply involved in social outreach as COVID-19 was spreading. Though her social outreach has given her immense satisfaction, she has nothing to show against research contributions. Further, it has impacted her teaching effectiveness. Her confirmation is due in a year. So, Aparna was good, but she got involved in social outreach, which has hampered her research as well as teaching. First question. The Dean, during the annual appraisal of Aparna, realizes that her research contribution needs a considerable investment of time and effort. He is concerned that her performance could set a wrong precedent for the new faculty recruits. The Dean wants to communicate the new faculty recruits that research contribution is critical. Which of the following actions will best help the Dean in achieving the objective while being fair to Aparna? Why does he need to be fair to Aparna? Because Aparna is actually good. It is because of the social outreach that she could not perform as well as she did. But if the Dean does not take action, it could set a wrong precedent for the other members who are being recruited. So, ये problem है. How do we resolve this? A says increase her teaching and research requirement while extending a probation period for 2 years. Guys, this would be too harsh. Exhort Aparna to suspend her social outreach activities till the end of her probation and to focus on research and teaching instead. This wouldn't be fair to her, right? You're asking her to give up what she likes to do, and this is something noble that she's doing. See, appreciate Aparna's social outreach, but advise her to focus on research and teaching contributions, and they are essential for confirmation. Appreciate and advise. Best course of action. D says, suggest Aparna to start looking for a new job in the time available to her. Again, too harsh. Extend Aparna's probation period by an additional year while reminding her about the research and teaching contributions needed for confirmation. So guys, D is also again very harsh. Clearly, C is the best answer. I'm sure we agree on this. Moving on. One year on, Aparna continues with her social work. Gradually, she gets closer to the end of her probation and she has not much to show against her teaching and research contributions. However, her social work has been widely appreciated by the local media. The Chief Minister of the state wants Aparna to take a larger role in social outreach and assist the government. The Dean is afraid that not confirming Aparna might prompt her to leave the institution, sending a wrong signal to the outside world. However, he also wants to send a message to the newly joined faculty members that teaching and research contributions are essential for confirmation. Again, a very good question. Which of the following action by the Dean is the most sustainable given the circumstances? Offer to create a non-teaching position of outreach officer for Aparna but terminate her from the teaching position. Too harsh again. Extend Aparna's probation by 3 years and tell her that she would have to leave her if her research and teaching do not improve in that period. Okay, we could consider this. So he's not confirming Aparna, but he's not letting her go either. So this would take care of both the problems. It would not send out a wrong message, but it would also tell Aparna that she needs to focus on research and teaching as well. C. Confirm Aparna but freeze her increments and promotions until her research contributions are as per the expected standards. Guys, confirming Aparna will set a wrong precedent. Then other people will think that you can just be there because of your social outreach and will not focus on teaching and research. D says, declare that Aparna's extraordinary achievement deserves to be treated exceptionally and confirm her, again setting a wrong precedent. E. Offer Aparna a 5-year contractual position after which she has to leave irrespective of her contributions. Too harsh. Best out of the given options is option B. Clear? Great. A few months later, Aparna, during an interview with the local media, inadvertently expresses a fear that she might be let go by A to Z because she has not met its teaching and research requirements. Consequently, the academic council urges the dean to review the faculty confirmation policy. The dean, however, believes that any change in the policy will be set back to the institution's aspirations of becoming a global leader in research, which makes sense because we had initially pointed out that teaching is not a problem, it's the research which is a problem, right? Which of the following actions by the dean will be the most appropriate given the circumstances? Give an interview to a local newspaper and share Aparna's lack of research and poor teaching feedback. Guys, this is too far-fetched. Confirm Aparna but ask her to issue a public statement acknowledging the importance A to Z gives to research contributions. This would be bowing down to Aparna, not fair. Confirm Aparna but make it clear that her future promotions will be tied to her research and contributions and teaching feedback. You could consider this. Option D says, convey to Aparna that the institute is eager to retain her, however, emphasize that she should focus on research to get confirmed. This is, okay, between C and D, I think D is a better option. E says, tell Aparna that she is being let go for insulting the college on a public platform. Too far-fetched. Between C and D, C is restricting her. D is clearly emphasizing. So this is a better course of action. Are we all on the same page? Could you understand what we did today? Could you follow what we did today? Everything? Any questions? Well, I've come to realize, guys, that you guys have started having fun with decision making. I'm glad I could help you with that. It's been a long session. I think we're all tired. We'll call it quits right now. And I don't want to start with another set right away. So yeah, best of luck and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with verbal ability. Alright? See you at 6 o'clock. Till then, stay well. Take care.